Title: Screen Shadows. Jamie flicked through the channels absent-mindedly, searching for something to break the stagnation of another gloomy Saturday afternoon. With rain pattering against the window, the light in the room faded to a muted gray. Nothing seemed appealing until a promotional ad caught her eye. Enter the world of your favorite characters. The advertisement promised an immersive experience where you could step into iconic horror flicks. Intrigued, Jamie donned her headphones and signed up for the event, her excitement barely contained. She couldn't wait. The thought of meeting Dracula, the spooky clown from the news, and maybe even that creepy ghost girl intrigued her. She had always been obsessed with horror films, seeing them as an escape into thrill and can be as fun as they were scary. As the day approached, the event became a topic of endless discussion among her friends. They all planned to attend, but when Saturday came, Jamie stood at the entrance of a dilapidated cinema alone. The neon lights flickered ominously overhead, and as she entered, the doors creaked shut behind her. A chill ran down her spine, but she pushed it away, excitedly stepping inside. Inside, the lobby looked like every horror movie ever made. Masks of popular villains adorned the walls, flickering images of past films danced across the screens. Sanitized of comfort, she felt an unsettling vibe seep into her bones. A hushed announcer beckoned them to the main screening room, and the group congregated in front of a large screen that pulsated with life. The lights went down, and their faces were cast in eerie shadows. Jamie received a virtual headset, which would immerse her in a world where characters could interact with them. With a whoosh that felt too real, Jamie found herself standing in a foggy forest, the trees twisted, their gnarled branches like skeletal fingers reaching out. Panic stirred within her, but she stilled her breath and looked around. Her friends, similarly equipped, surrounded her. They ventured forward, laughter escaping their lips as they pointed to shadows that flickered in the distance. But then the laughter caught in Jamie's throat when she heard an unfamiliar voice whisper through the fog, "You shouldn't have come here." The shadows morphed and twisted around them, and suddenly, the distorted figures of Dracula, a towering figure of dread, and that sinister clown with knives for fingers emerged from the mist. Their laughter was sinister, chilling the air even further as they closed in on Jamie and her friends. "What's going on?" Jamie shouted, but her voice echoed back at her, round and warped. Panic surged when she turned and saw that the exit had vanished. In its place loomed a massive screen displaying the faces of her friends, their eyes wide and mouthless, attending to their own rigged screens, immobilized. "We'll play with you," the clown snarled, twisting his mouth into an unnaturally wide smile. Jamie felt paralyzed, squeezed by fear. She dared not run. They evoked an overwhelming blend of fear and nostalgia. All of her favorite movies were at the forefront of her mind. "If you want to survive, you must face your fears," Dracula whispered, his voice dripping with malevolence. Before she could react, they charged. Jamie bolted into the fog, the strength of the unsettling game coursing through her veins. She stumbled upon a clearing, a dilapidated cabin, its door ajar. She could hear mockingly familiar lines echo among the trees, like a warped chorus of the films she adored. She dashed inside, slamming the door behind her, but the laughter morphed to icy fingers grazing her spine. In the dim light, she spotted a mirror hanging crookedly on the wall. Just as she approached it, the reflection didn't show the room, but an amalgamation of all the characters she had once revered, gone dark, their eyes hollow, inching closer to the surface of the glass. She screamed, backing away, but the mirror rippled and pulled her in. In the cold depths of the glass, she saw twisted versions of her friends, faces warped into expressions of horror, trapped within the frame. "No, help!" Jamie cried, but the malicious laughter doubled, vibrating through the glass. They weren't just characters anymore, they were alive, and they were angry. With adrenaline fueling her, she forced herself to think. A moment of clarity struck as she reached back to the stories they came from. If they were real now, those rules had to apply. "Your power comes from fear," she shouted, her voice unwavering. "But I'm not afraid of you." Their laughter paused as shock settled over their faces, giving her an unexpected surge of resolve. Jamie lunged for the mirror, spitting out lines from her favorite films, combating the horror with courage. As she recited, the air flickered with light, pushing back against the dark shapes gathering around her. One by one, the echoes of the characters fell back, twitching and distorting under her resolve until they shattered into countless fragments of light. With a blinding flash, Jamie was propelled backward, collapsing into a heap of tangled limbs and frayed nerves. She was back in the cinema, surrounded by her friends who were just waking from a dream. They all stared, wide-eyed and confused, the flickering screen now showing happy movie scenes of their past. Although they were indeed back in the lobby alive, the shadows of the characters lingered on, whispering warnings of what lay on the other side, reminding them that horror could become reality in a split second. Jamie would never watch horror movies in the same way again, knowing that the line between the screen and reality could easily blur, filled with twisted dreams, dark laughter, and echoing shadows watching, always watching.